Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video tutorial, I will explain in Django Rest framework how to insert the selected checkbox, multiple checkbox values into MySQL PHP MyAdmin database using jQuery. Now let's check the final output. I'm selecting the tennis, cricket and running. I have selected cricket, tennis and running. Before insert this record, let's check the browse. Right now this table contains only one record which contains cricket, tennis and rugby. Now I am selected cricket, tennis and running. Click insert. The records are inserted successfully. Let's go here, click browse. So here cricket, tennis and running. We'll add this time rugby and football. Only two values are selected from these checkboxes. Click insert, click browse, the rugby and football. That's it. We have implemented to insert multiple checkbox values, selected checkbox values in Django Rest framework using jQuery. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a new Django web application, first we'll create a new table in PHP MyAdmin database. I want to create a table in this line database, so I'm selecting the line database. Right now in this database contains around 16 tables, so let's create the new table. I'm selecting the SQL tab, create table. I'm creating the sports. The table name is, let's add the columns, sport ID, integer type, not now, primary key. I'm adding the auto increment column. Next we require the sport names also. Sport names varchar 150, let's add 250. Let's click OK, go to create this sports table. So here the sports table is created successfully in this line database. Let's browse the sports table. Right now this sports table contains 0 rows. Now my aim is I want to insert the multiple selected checkbox values into this sports table using Django Rest framework with jQuery functionality. So let's create a new Django web application. Before creating a new Django web application, first we'll create a new folder. So I'm creating a new folder in this E volume. Right click the mouse, new and select folder. The folder name is Rest insert multiple checkboxes. Let's browse this folder. Right now this folder is empty. We'll create a new Django Rest Web API application in this folder. I'm using Visual Studio Code to create a Django Rest framework. Before that we need to add the folder in which we have created. Go to file, then select open folder. The folder name is Rest insert multiple checkboxes. I have selected that one, then button click select folder. And here the folder is successfully added to our Explorer panel. At the right side we got the welcome page. Let's close this welcome page. Now we'll create a new Django Web API application in this folder. Go to view, select terminal, and here we got a terminal which is nothing but a PowerShell or command prompt. And also if you notice the path here, the E drive, and this is our folder name. This folder name I want to create a application. So here Django -admin start project, and the project name is insert selected checkboxes. And here the insert selected checkboxes application is created successfully. Let me expand this application. If you notice, in this application contains one subfolder with the same application name and one manage.py Python file. Let me expand this subfolder also. In this subfolder contains some default Python files. All these files and folders has been created automatically when I create this project insert selected checkboxes. After creating the application, the next step will add the models page in the subfolder of our application. So select the subfolder, right click the mouse, click new file. The file name is models.py, and here we got the models.py page. Now in this models.py contains the properties and our table name. So before that we need to import the models class from django.db import models class. Let's define a class sports model models.model colon. If you check in our table, this table contains two columns, sport ID and sport names. I am not creating the property for this sport ID because it's auto generated column, but I am creating the property for the sports names. So sports name is equals to models dot char field maximum length is equals to, let's add 250, and require the class meta class colon db underscore table is equals to, our table name is a sports table. Let's copy that one and paste here. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now the next one, we require the serialized class also. So let's create another page, right click the subfolder, new file, the file name is serialized.py, enter, and here we got our serialized.py. Now in this serialized.py page contains the model and the fields. Before that we need to import from Django, not Django here, from rest underscore framework import serializers. After that we need to import the models class also. My models class is inside our application, so let's add our application name dot models import. The model class is a sport model. Then let's define the serialized class sports serialize. The class name is serializers dot model serializer colon. Now add the meta class. Now in this meta class contains a model is equals to, model name is a sport model, our class model class name here. Then contains the fields is equals to, I am adding double underscore all. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now require the views page. Let's add that one also in the subfolder views.py. Now in this views.py contains the actual logic to create the API and also will consume that API in this views page. But before that we need to import the important class names here. First I am importing the models class from insert my application name dot models import sport model, and also I am importing the serializer also, serialize import sport serializer. Then let's define the function called insert sport request colon if request dot method. The method here I am using post colon, and the post values we are entering from the sports serializer. So let's define the serialize object. Serialize object is equals to sports serialize sports serialize. Here I am adding data is equals to request dot data. The request dot data values we are inserting, but before inserting we need to validate the data. So serialize object dot is valid. If the validation is satisfied, I want to save, so serialize object dot save method. So once the record is saved successfully, I want to return response. So here I need to import one more class from rest framework dot response import response. Here the response R is capital, so this response copy that one and paste here. The returning the response, returning the response, serialize object dot data is data comma. Let's add the status also. The status here from REST framework import status. The status is equals to status dot http 201 created. We are creating the record. If the record is failed to insert, it's a bad 400 bad request. That's it. Let's make this function the REST API, REST framework functionalities. For that we need to import decorate with REST framework dot decorators. If you notice here, I'm using the function method API. So I'm importing API underscore view. It's not a class API, it's a REST API. So I'm decorating with API underscore view between square brackets and single quotes. I'm adding the post. The method is post. We are posting the data. That's it. We have created the API. Let's save this file. Save all. Now we need to configure the URLs. In the URLs, first we need to import views. Then in the URL patterns path, let's add the sport insert is my web URL name. The URL name is sport insert and views dot. Let's add this insert sport, the function name here. Add comma here. Let's save this file. We have configured the URLs also. Then open settings.py. In the settings.py, in the install underscore app section, let's import the first REST underscore framework comma, and we require our application name. Our application name is also insert selected Checkboxes. Then come to the databases section. If you notice in the databases, the default database is SQLite. Let's delete that one. Our database is MySQL. Let's delete this default name, database name. Our database name is line database. The sports table I have created in the line database. So let's add the line database. After that we require the credentials. So user, root, and also we require the password, colon, and also we require the host also. And also we require the host also, local host, and we require the port number also. And let's grab the MySQL port number is 3308. So add that one 3308 comma, and we require the options here, colon between curly brackets. The option is init underscore command colon between double quotes. Let's set the SQL underscore. I'm setting the SQL mode here is equals to between single quotes strict. The mode is strict underscore trans underscore tables. That's it. Let's end with the colon comma here. Let's save this file. Save all. That's it. We have done the first part. We have created the API. Now before consume that API, I will check the output that API is working or not. So come to the terminal. Let's add our project name to this path. After that we'll run the Python run server, Python manage.py run server, enter. See, after I run the server we don't have any issues. Below that we got our web server link. Let's browse this one, control plus mouse click, and here we got the default page, the page not found, because we have added the sport insert with our REST API URL. Let's enter that one. See here, we got the get here, whatever the records we insert will get here, and this is a post. Now the media type is a application /JSON. We are posting the data. If we check, our method is post. So I have selected the post. I'm adding some records between curly brackets. Here I'm adding the JSON file, sport ID :1, comma, and sport name. Require the sports names also, colon, and double quotes. The sports name is cricket, comma, tennis. Imagine the user is selecting the multiple sports: cricket, tennis, and rugby. The user has selected 3 sport names. That's it. Let's post this value. Before posting the data, let's browse this sports table. Right now this sports table contains 0 rows. Let's insert, click sports. See here, where we accept here the records are displaying. ID is 1, these are the sports names. Let's browse this one. So after I browse the table, the new data, the cricket, tennis, and rugby is inserted. These values we have inserted here. Now my next part is, we'll consume this API to insert multiple selected checkbox values with the user interface using Django and jQuery. So again, switch back to the coding part. First we'll create one folder in the project, new folder. The folder name is a templates. All my HTML files I will save in this folder only. So first we'll create one folder, one HTML file, which is the index.html, and this index.html doc type, I'm adding the HTML tag. Inside the HTML tag, I'm adding the header section, and the header section I'm adding the title, insert multiple check values from the checkbox, adding the body, then I am adding the center tag, inside the center tag I am adding h1, how to insert multiple checkbox values, and h2 Django Rest framework with jQuery. After that I'm adding horizontal line. After the horizontal line I am adding the form tag, the method we are posting the data. Let's close this form tag. In this form tag I'm adding input type is equals to checkbox. I'm adding the checkbox elements here. Value is equals to cricket, colon, cricket. Let's copy this one. We'll add some more checkbox controls. Let's define 5 checkbox controls. The next one is a rugby. Copy this one, paste here. Tennis, football, and running. After that I require one break. Add the break. We'll add one button control. Input type is equals to, the button control is a submit button control, and the value of the button control is insert. Let's close the button control. And before insert the selected multiple values into database, first I want to display in the text box control the selected values of the checkbox control. So I'm adding one more text box element. Type is equals to text. Let's close this one. That's it. Up to now we have done the designing part. Now open settings.py, go to template section. Let's add os.path join. I'm joining my templates folder with the base directory. So this join method contains the base directory, and the second parameter is the templates, my folder name. Let's save all. Before adding the actual jQuery, before consume the API, first we'll check the basic output. Or we forgot to add the URLs also, single quotes. Now this is our default home page. Views dot we don't have views here, so let's create one view. Def insert save. Let's have save sports. Request colon render. Now this function return render, so we require the render class here. From let's import Django.shortcuts, import render class, return render request comma index.html. This page name I'm adding here. Let's save this file. Now we'll check the output control C. Let's run the server again. See, after I run the server, we don't have any issues. Let's browse this link, control plus mouse click, and here we got let's save the views page also. Save all. We need to add the save sports here. Sorry for that. Save sports. Now let's save this file. Save all. So after I run the server, we don't have any issues. Now I'm reloading the browser. See, here we got the output, the header tags, after that horizontal line, below that the checkbox controls, and one text box control and button control. Now before implementing the saving the values, the selected checkbox values into this database, first my aim is whatever the user select the checkbox controls, I want to display those selected values of the checkboxes display in this text box control. If the user unselect, I want to delete that value from this text box control. So for that I'm using the jQuery functionality. So when we are implementing the jQuery in our web applications, first we require the latest jQuery CDN link. So for that, let's search for jQuery latest CDN, Google, enter. And from the search results, I'm selecting the first one, hosted libraries. In the Google hosted libraries, notice here the script which contains the latest version of the CDN, the 3.5.1. Let's copy that one and paste in our index.html inside the header section after the title tag. After that, before adding the script, let's add the script here first. Now before adding the snippet, first we'll consume this API in this sports. If request dot method double equals to post colon the user selected values, first I want to display in this text box control. So here I'm adding one, name is equals to sport names, copy this one and add here. Let's declare a variable sport name is equals to the request dot post dot get. The get method, the values we are getting from this text box control. Copy this sports name and paste here. After that, we require the data also. Data is equals to, between curly brackets, double quotes, sport names. We have to add the sport names, this column name, sport names, column, this variable sport name. Then let's add the headers is equals to, between curly brackets. If we check in the REST framework API, the content type is application-json. Let's copy that one and paste here. Here we require the column, double quotes. After that, now the most important step, we read the data from this API. We'll save the data. So let's declare a variable save details. You can add any variable here. Requesters. So we need to import one more namespace here. Import requesters. This requesters class we have to add here. Requesters contain one post function. Post single quotes. We are posting our API. The data we are posting through this API, comma, and the data type is JSON. So let's add the JSON is equals to, the JSON type is this one, data, comma, headers is equals to this variable, headers variable. After that, we'll return render request index.html. Once the record is inserted, I want to return the index.html template only, and else, and the else part, which is a get method, I want to display this index.html. That's it. Let's save all. Now we require the index jQuery functionality. In the script function $document dot ready function, let's close with semicolon. Now dollar double quotes, when a user clicks this checkbox control, so we require class here. Class is equals to chk box. Let's add this class to all checkboxes. Copy this. When we are adding the class names to the jQuery, we need to prefix with dot click function. Now those the selected checkbox values I want to display in the checkbox control. So we need to hold first in a variable, text is equals to semicolon, then the each function, then dollar in single quotes dot checkbox. I'm adding this class name dot checkbox colon checked dot each function now those values, the each selected checkbox values I want to display in this hole in this text. So text is equals to dollar this dot val function. I'm concatenating, I'm separating the selected values with a comma semicolon, but here important step is we need to add plus here because we are selecting multiple values, so we need to add plus here. Then this text box values I want to display in this text box element, so I'm adding one more id here is text value. Let's copy this one, dollar between double quotes. When we are adding IDs, we need to prefix with a hash text value dot val method. I'm adding text colon. That's it. Let's save this file. We'll check this functionality is working or not. Whatever the user select the checkboxes is displaying in the text box control or not. So let's run the server again, Control C. After I run the server, we don't have any issues. Let's reload the browser. Now I'm selecting tennis. See here we got tennis, running cricket. So this functionality is working with the jQuery. And also if you notice, we are getting comma here. Let's delete that comma. So let's substring that one. Before insert the values into this text box element, we need text is equals to text dot substring. The substring takes the starting number 0 comma text dot length -1. -1 is the last one, is the ending one. The starting value is the ending value. I'm deleting the last character from this text string, semicolon. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now we'll check. If you notice here, we got the comma here at the last. Let's reload the browser. If I select tennis, see, we don't have any comma here. Again, football, no comma, cricket, no comma. If I unselect, the values are deleting. Now the final step, what are the values here it's showing? For example, the rugby and tennis, I want to insert, click insert. I want to save in this sports table. So let's write the logic here. In the post method, percentage CSRF underscore token. So make sure add this line CSRF underscore token is very important when we are posting the data in Django. If you don't add this line, you will get an error. The reason is it protects our data from the hackers. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. I'm reloading the browser. Now let's check the final output. I'm selecting the tennis, cricket and running. I have selected cricket, tennis and running. Before insert this record, let's check the browse. Right now this table contains only one record, which contains cricket, tennis and rugby. Now I'm selected cricket, tennis and running. Click insert. The records are inserted successfully. Let's go here, click browse. So here cricket, tennis and running. We'll add this time rugby and football. Only 2 values are selected from these checkboxes. Click insert, click browse, the rugby and football. That's it. we have implemented to insert multiple checkbox values, selected checkbox values in Django Rest framework using jQuery.